Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another Mindfulness Monday. Welcome. So, of course, today we're going to be intentional as well as share an action step that we can take and a little reflection. So, before I dive in, wherever you are, if you're watching this, whatever you're doing while you're watching this, we're going to take a second to just pause. So lower your gaze or close your eyes. Find complete stillness. First, absorb all of the sounds that are naturally happening around you. Breathing at a normal pace. Think about what made you press play on that live. Think about an intention that you'd like to set for the rest of your evening. Inhale through your nose. Let it right out through your mouth. No pauses, just looping your breath. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. Inhale. Exhale. Reconnect with that intention that you set as to why you're here and what you're wanting to receive for the rest of your evening. And slowly open your eyes if you've closed them. Again, welcome to another Mindfulness Monday. So I realize that being mindful or just practicing mindfulness is not something that's just easy to pick up. It's a skill, it's a discipline, it's a practice. So I wanted to introduce to you guys a book that I've read, a book that I read that helps me and also assists me when it comes to my teachings. This book is called Mindfulness in Plain English because, again, mindfulness seems like it's a universal word, but yet we all live here and we all don't move to one universal word. So I wanted to just share this with you. Okay. I understand too that people receive things to their own level of understanding. So I want you to receive everything that I'm saying to you the way that I intended. But before you can receive it how I intend, you have to first be clear on what mindfulness actually means in a universal language. Okay? So I'm going to read this first chapter. It's a few pages. But if you're tuned in with me, just listen in. Receive and take in what resonates with you. Anything that you don't agree with, anything that does not sit well with who you are and where you are on your journey, leave it. Enter into this space of accepting with no judgment and no expectations, okay? Chapter 1, Meditation, Why Bother? Meditation is not easy. It takes time and it takes energy. It also takes grit, determination, and discipline. It requires a host of personal qualities that we normally regard as unpleasant and like to avoid whenever possible. We can sum up all of these qualities in the American word gumption. Meditation takes gumption. It is certainly a great deal easier just to sit back and watch television. So why bother? Why waste all that time and energy when you can just be out enjoying yourself? Why? Simple. Because you are human. Just because of the simple fact that you are human, you find yourself here to an inherent unsatisfactoriness in life that simply will not go away. You can suppress it from your awareness for a time. You can distract yourself for hours on an end, but it always comes back, and usually when you least expect it. All of a sudden, seemingly out of the blue, you sit up, take stock, and realize your actual situation in life. There you are, and you suddenly realize that you are spending your whole life just barely getting by. You keep up a good front. You manage to make ends meet somehow and look okay from the outside. But those periods of desperation, those times when you feel everything caving in on you, you keep those to yourself. You are a mess and you know it, but you hide it beautifully. Meanwhile, way down under all of that, you just know there has to be some other way to life, some other way to live, a better way to look at the world, a way to touch life more fully. You click into it by chance now and then. You get a good job. You fall in love. You win a game. For a while, things are different. Life takes on a richness and clarity that makes all the bad times and humdrum fade away. The whole texture of your experience changes, and you say to yourself, okay, now I've made it. Now I'll be happy. But then that fades too, like smoke in the wind. You are left with just the memory that and the vagueness awareness that something is wrong. You feel that there is really a whole other realm of depth and sensitivity available in life. Somehow you are just not seeing it. You wind up feeling cut off. You feel insulated from the sweetness of experience by some sort of sensory cotton. You are not really touching life. You are not making it again. Then even that vague awareness fades away, and you are back to the same old reality. The world looks like the usual foul place. It is an emotional roller coaster, and you spend a lot of time down at the bottom of the ramp, yearning for the heights. So what is wrong with you? Are you a freak? No. You're just human. And you suffer from the same malady that infects every human being. It is a monster inside all of us, and it has many arms: chronic tension, lack of genuine compassion for others, including the people closest to you, blocked up feelings and emotional deadness, many arms. None of us is entirely free from it. We may deny it. We try to suppress it. We build a whole culture around hiding from it, pretending it is not there, and distracting ourselves with goals, projects, and concerns about status. But it never goes away. It is a constant undercurrent in every thought and every perception, a little voice in the back of the mind that keeps saying, not good enough yet, need to have more, have to make it better, have to be better. It is a monster that manifests everywhere in subtle forms. Go to a party. Listen to the laughter, those brittle-tongued voices that express fun on the surface and fear underneath. Feel the tension, the pressure. Nobody really relaxes. They are faking it. Go to a ball game. Watch the fans in the stands. Watch the irrational fits of anger. Watch the uncontrolled frustration bubbling forth from people that masquerades under the guise of enthusiasm or team spirit. Booing, catcalls, and unbridled egotism in the name of loyalty, drunkenness, fights in the stands. These are people trying desperately to release tension from within. These are not people who are at peace with themselves. Watch the news on TV. Listen to the lyrics of popular songs. You find the same theme repeated over and over in variations: jealousy, suffering, discontent, and stress. Life seems to be a perpetual struggle, an enormous effort against staggering odds. And what is our solution to all this dissatisfaction? We get stuck in the if only syndrome. If only I had more money, then I would be happy. If only I could find someone who really loved me. If only I could lose 20 pounds. If only I had a color TV, a hot tub, and curly hair, and on forever. Where does all this junk come from? And more important, what can we do about it? It comes from the conditions of our own minds. It is a deep, subtle, and pervasive set of mental habits. A Gordian knot that we have tied bit by bit, and that we can only unravel in just the same way, one piece at a time. We can tune up our awareness, dredge up each separate piece, and bring it out into the light. We can make the unconscious conscious, slowly, one piece at a time. The essence of our experience is change. Change is incessant. Moment by moment, life flows by, and it never is the same. Perpetual fluctuation is the essence of the perpetual universe. A thought springs up in your head, and half a second later it is gone. In comes another, and then that is gone too. A sound strikes your ears, and then silence. Open your eyes and the world pours in. Blink and it is gone. People come into your life and go. Friends leave, relatives die. Your fortune goes up and they go down. Sometimes you win, and sometimes as often you lose. It is incessant. Change, change, change. No two moments ever the same. There is not a thing wrong with this. It is the nature of the universe. But human culture has taught us some odd responses to this endless flowing. We categorize experiences. We try to stick each perception, every mental change, in this endless flow, into one of three mental pigeonholes. It is good, it is bad, or neutral. Then, according to which box we stick it in, we perceive with a set of fixed habitual mental responses. If a particular perception has been labeled good, then we try to freeze time right there. We grab onto that particular thought, fondle it, hold it, and we try to keep it from escaping. When that does not work, we go all out in an effort to repeat the experience that caused the thoughts. Let us call this mental habit grasping. Over on the other side of the mind lies the box labeled bad. When we perceive something bad, we try to push it away. We try to deny it, reject it, and get rid of it any way that we can. We fight against our own experience. We run from pieces of ourselves. Let us call this mental box rejecting. Between these two reactions lies the neutral box. Here we place the experiences that are neither good nor bad. They are tepid, neutral, uninteresting. We pack experience away in the neutral box so that we can ignore it and thus return our attention to where this action is, namely our endless round of desire and aversion. So this neutral category of experience gets robbed of its fair share of our attention. Let us call this mental habit ignoring. The direct result of all of this lunacy is a perpetual treadmill race to nowhere, endlessly pounding after pleasure, endlessly fleeing from pain, and endlessly ignoring 90% of our experience. Then we wonder why life tastes so flat. In the final analysis, this system does not work. No matter how hard you pursue pleasure and success, there are times when you fail. No matter how fast you flee, there are times when pain catches up with you. And in between those times, life is so boring you could scream. Our minds are full of opinions and criticism. We have built walls all around ourselves and are trapped in the prison of our own likes and dislikes. We suffer. Suffering is a big word in Buddhist thought. It is a key term and should be thoroughly understood. The Pali word is dukkha, and it does not mean the agony of the body. It means that deep, subtle sense of dissatisfaction that is a part of every mind moment and that results directly from the mental treadmill. The essence of life is suffering, said the Buddha. At first glance, this statement seems exceedingly morbid and pessimistic. It seems untrue. After all, there are plenty of times when we are happy, aren't there? No, there are not. It just seems that way. Take any moment when you feel really fulfilled and examine it closely. Down under the joy, you will find that subtle, all-pervasive undercurrent of tension that no matter how great this moment is, it is going to end. No matter how much you just gained, you are inevitably either going to lose some of it or spend the rest of your days guarding what you have and scheming how to get more. And in the end, you are going to die. In the end, you lose everything. It is all transitory. Sound pretty bleak, doesn't it? Luckily, it's not at all. It only seems bleak when you view it from the ordinary mental perspective, the very perspective at which the treadmill mechanism operates. Underneath lies another perspective, a completely different way to look at the universe. It is a level of functioning in which the mind does not try to freeze time, does not grasp onto our experiences as it flows by, and does not try to block things out and ignore them. It is a level of experience beyond good and bad, beyond pleasure and pain. It is a lovely way to perceive the world, and it is a learnable skill. It is not easy, but it can be learned. Happiness and peace are really the prime issues in human existence. That is what all of us are seeking. This is often a bit hard to see because we cover up those basic goals with layers of surface objectives. We want food, wealth, sex, entertainment, and respect. We even say to ourselves that the idea of happiness is too abstract. Look, I am practical. Just give me enough money and I will buy all the happiness I need. Unfortunately, this is an attitude that does not work. Examine each of these goals and you will find that they are superficial. You want food? Why? Because I'm hungry? So you are hungry, so what? Well, if I eat, I won't be hungry. And then I'll be good. Right? Feel good. Now there's the real item. What we really seek is not the surface goals. Those are just means to an end. What we are really after is the feeling of relief that comes when the drive is satisfied. Relief, relaxation, and an end to the tension. Peace, happiness, no more yearning. So what is this happiness? For most of us, the idea of perfect happiness would be to have everything we wanted and be in control of everything, playing Caesar, making the whole world dance a jig according to our every whim. Once again, it does not work that way. Take a look at the people in history who have actually held this type of power. They were not happy people. Certainly, they were not at peace with themselves. Why not? Because they were driven to control the world totally and absolutely, and they could not. They wanted to control all people, yet there remained people who refused to be controlled. These powerful people could not control the stars. They still got sick. They still had to die. You can't ever get everything you want. It is impossible. Luckily, there is another option. You can learn to control your mind to step outside of the endless cycle of desire and aversion. You can learn not to want what you want, to recognize desires but not be controlled by them. I'm going to say that part one more time. You can learn not to want what you want, to recognize desires but not be controlled by them. This does not mean that you lie down the road and invite everybody to walk all over you. It means that you continue to live a very normal looking life, but live from a whole new viewpoint. You do the things that a person must do, but you are free from that obsessive, compulsive drivenness of your own desires. You want something, but you don't need to chase after it. You fear something, but you don't need to stand there quaking in your boots. This sort of mental cultivation is very difficult. It takes years. But trying to control everything is impossible. The difficult is preferably to the impossible. Wait a minute though. Peace and happiness. Isn't that what civilization is all about? We build skyscrapers and freeways. We have paid vacations, TV sets. We provide free hospitals and sick leaves, Social Security and welfare benefits. All of that is aimed at providing some measure of peace and happiness. Yet the rate of mental illness climbs steadily and the crime rates rise faster. The streets are crawling with aggressive and unstable individuals. Stick your arms outside the safety of your own door and somebody is very likely to steal your watch. Something is not working. A happy person does not steal. One who is at peace with him or herself does not feel driven to kill. We like to think that our society is employing every area of human knowledge in order to achieve peace and happiness, but this is not true. We are just beginning to realize that we have overdeveloped the material aspects of existence at the expense of the deeper emotional and spiritual aspects, and we are paying for the price of that error. It is one thing to talk about degeneration of morale and spiritual fiber in America today, and another thing to actually do something about it. The place to start is within ourselves. Look carefully inside, truthfully and objectively, and each of us will see moments when I am the delinquent and I am the crazy person. We will learn to see those moments, see them clearly, cleanly, and without condemnation. And we will be on our way up and out of being so. You can't make radical changes in the pattern of your life until you begin to see yourself exactly as you are now. I'm going to read that part again. You can't make radical changes in the pattern of your life until you begin to see yourself exactly as you are now. As soon as you do that, changes will flow naturally. You don't have to force anything, struggle, or obey rules dictated to you by some authority. It is automatic. You just change. But arriving at that initial insight is quite a task. You have to see who you are and how you are without illusion, judgment, or resistance of any kind. You have to see your place in society and your function as a social being. You have to see your duties and obligations to your fellow human beings. And above all, your responsibility to yourself as an individual living with other individuals. And finally, you have to see all of that clearly as a single unit, an irreducible whole of interrelationship. It sounds complex, but it can occur in a single instant. Mental cultivation through meditation is without rival in helping you achieve this sort of understanding and serene happiness. The Padabanda, an ancient Buddha text which anticipated fruit by thousands of years, says, "What you are now is the result of what you were. What you will be tomorrow will be the result of what you are now. The consequences of an evil mind will follow you like the cart follows the ox that pulls it. The consequence of a purified mind will follow you like your own shadow. No one can do more for you than you of your own purified mind. No parent, no relative, no friend, no one. A well-disciplined mind brings happiness. Meditation is intended to purify the mind. It cleanses the thought process of what can be called psychic irritants, things like greed, hatred, and jealousy, which keeps you snarled up in emotional bondage. Meditation brings the mind to a state of tranquility and awareness, a state of concentration and insight. In our society, we are great believers in education. We believe that knowledge makes a person civilized. Civilization, however, polishes a person only superficially. Subject our noble and sophisticated gentle person to the stresses of war or economic collapse and see what happens. It is one thing to obey the law because you know the penalties and fear the consequences. It is something else entirely to obey the law because you have cleansed yourself from the greed that would make you steal and the hatred that would make you kill. Throw a stone into a stream. The running water would smooth the stone surface, but the inside remains unchanged. Take that same stone and place it in the intense fires of a forge and it all melts. The whole stone changes inside and out. Civilization changes a person on the outside. Meditation softens a person from within, through and through. Meditation is called the great teacher. It is the cleansing crucible fire that works slowly but surely through understanding. The greater your understanding, the more flexible and tolerant, the more compassionate you can be. You become like a perfect parent or an ideal teacher. You are ready to forgive and forget. You feel love towards others because you understand them, and you understand others because you have understood yourself. You have looked deeply inside and seen illusion, self-illusion, and your own human failings, seen your own humanity and learned to forgive and learn to love. When you have learned compassion for yourself, compassion for others is automatic. An accomplished meditator has achieved a profound understanding of life, and he or she inevitably relates to the world with a deep and uncritical love. Meditation is like a lot of cultivating a new land. To make a field out of a forest, first you have to clear the trees and pull out the stumps. Then you till the soil and fertilize it, sow your seed, and harvest your crops. To cultivate your mind, first you have to clear out the various irritants that are in the way. Pull them right out by the root so that they won't grow back. Then you fertilize. You pump energy and discipline into the mental soil. Then you sow the seed and harvest your crops of faith, morality, mindfulness, and wisdom. Faith and morality, by the way, have a special meaning. Faith and morality, by the way, have a special meaning in this context. Buddhism does not advocate faith in the sense of believing something because it is written in a book, attributed to a prophet, or taught to you by some authority figure. The meaning of faith here is closer to confidence. It is knowing that something is true because you have seen it work, because you have observed that very thing within yourself. In the same way, morality is not a ritualistic obedience to a code of behavior imposed by an external authority. Let me reread that. In the same way, morality is not a ritualistic obedience to a code of behavior imposed by an external authority. It is rather a healthy habit pattern that you have consciously and voluntarily chosen to impose upon yourself because you recognize its superiority to your present behavior. The purpose of meditation is personal transformation. The you that goes in one side of the meditation experience is not the same you that comes out of the other side. Meditation changes your character by a process of sensitization, by making you deeply aware of your own thoughts, words, and deeds. Your arrogance evaporates and your antagonism dries up. Your mind becomes still and calm. and your life smooths out. Thus, meditation, properly performed, prepares you to meet the ups and downs of existence. It reduces your tension, fear, and worry. Restlessness recedes and passion moderates. Things begin to fall into place and your life becomes a glide instead of a struggle. All of this happens through understanding. Meditation sharpens your concentration and your thinking power. Then piece by piece, your own subconscious motives and mechanics become clear to you. Your intuition sharpens. The precision of your thoughts increase, and you gradually come to a direct knowledge of things as they really are, without prejudice and without illusion. So are these reasons enough to bother? Scarcely. These are just promises on paper. There is only one way you will ever know if meditation is worth the effort. Learn to do it right and do it. See for yourself. Okay. Now, thank you guys for tuning into that. There is so much that I can say through my voice, through my own level of perception and my own level of understanding, because it's through my personal experience. But reading through an actual text allows you to hear what I heard, apply it to your life as you see fit, and then you decide. Okay? Now, I started Mindfulness Monday a year ago. Randomly. It's been something that's been practiced consistently. It's also something that's consistently incorporated into my life because it works. It works for me. I also say anything in life, all of the systems that we live by, work if you work it. Okay? Practicing meditation and just practicing those moments to just pause and be allows you clarity and clearness in thought. Because I don't know about y'all, but life is real. Life is real. I can feel happy in this moment right now as I'm speaking to you, and as soon as I hit end, I can feel sad. That's the reality of life. What you do about that, though, is up to you. The action I want you guys to take today. Get still. Many people say they don't have time. Make time. Make time to do absolutely nothing. Because sometimes when we have a lot that we need to decide on, sometimes when we have just so much going on in our head, what I need to do, when I need to do it, how do I need to get it done, how is this going to work, how is this going to make it? It's clutter. And most of the times when you have a cluttered mind, it comes out in the spaces that you're living in. So look around. Look around and see if things are put up or if things are put out. Learn how to look at your outer surroundings to recognize where your inner state is. Okay? And with that pause that you take today, you don't have to sit in lotus position. You don't have to sit on the floor in a room with candles lit and incense. You don't have to catch that type of vibe. That's my type of vibe because I make the time for it. But whatever that looks like for you, if it's you going outside to your car because your house is loud, go. If that's you just stepping outside, even though it's dark outside, if that's you stepping outside and just walking up and down that sidewalk for a few minutes, go. And when you go, don't put no headphones in. Don't call nobody. Don't call nobody. Just allow yourself to be so that you can hear. I see some people practicing meditation very differently than I do. And meditation is, again, a process, it's a discipline, it's a practice. Mindfulness is a practice, it's a process, it's a skill. It takes time. It's something that you cultivate. It's something that you consistently do in order to enhance your own personal experience. So what mindfulness may look like for me, it's not going to be what it looks like for you. So I do advise anyone that's wanting to practice meditation or mindfulness to enter into that space with absolutely no expectations. Don't have any. Don't know what to expect. And be open to receive. Open to receive what resonates for you. Take what you need from that. Anything that I just read, if you have not listened, go back. Listen to the first chapter of Mindfulness in plain English. Take what resonates with you. What doesn't, excuse me, that part don't apply, but that part does. And get still. Get still. My mind has been foggy. Although I'm mentally clear on where I am on my path and where I'm headed, sometimes and most times when my mind feels foggy and cloudy, it's because of the sounds of others. It's because of the experiences and the patterns and the lifestyles that others are experiencing in the space that I'm in. So what I do with myself when I feel that, I remove myself. It's not being selfish. It's not being selfish to go and pour into your cup, y'all. So today, the action I want you to take, whatever you're doing, wherever you are, take a minimum of 5 minutes to yourself. Set your timer for 5 minutes and lay there and don't do anything but breathe. Set your timer for 5 minutes. Go outside, walk up and down the sidewalk or the street, and don't do anything but breathe. Look up to the sky. Look up at the clouds. Look up at the stars, the sunset, whatever it is that you can put your eyes on. Look at it. Tune into the sounds that you hear. If you hear birds chirping, allow yourself to be there while they're chirping. If you hear the traffic passing by you, take it in. Feel the space in which you're lying, or feel the air in the space in which you're walking in. Y'all hear me? Connect with your senses. And be here now. This moment right here is truly the only moment that exists. This is it. Not 2 minutes ago. Not an hour from now. We only hope that we can get there. So stop worrying. And I know that it's easier said than done. We all worry. I worry at times too, but when I catch myself worrying, guess what I do? Janae, absolutely not. Let it go. Inhale, peace, presence. Exhale, worry, doubt, fear. Y'all hear me? So I know that it's easier said than done because I'm human. I'm right here with you. But this is a tool in my toolbox that I practice daily. And it works for me. So set that timer for 5 minutes and just be. Allow your thoughts to come up, then allow them to drift away. Just allow yourself to be. Make space for you and get still. And then when that timer goes off, when your 5 minutes are up from relaxing, if that's all that you did, Now you can step into the next moment because you made that space and you created that time to just pour and refill and top off your cup. Okay? Make the time for you. After you've completed taking that time with yourself, reflect on it. If you would like to write this out in a journal, do so. If you would like to just ask yourself this question and reflect on that thought yourself, do so. But reflecting is important. So after you sit with yourself for those minutes, ask yourself, how do I feel now? How do I truly feel now? If it worked, good. You're on the right track. If you feel that it didn't, that's okay too. You're acknowledging your feelings. And try again. You don't have to try again and make that time now, but definitely create time because you have time. Okay? Before I end this live, a breathing technique that you can use is what we practiced at the beginning. It's called looping. It's a looping technique where you inhale through your nose, and instead of taking any type of pauses, you exhale right out of your mouth. You're allowing your breath to go in a complete circle, and you're looping the inhales and the exhales, which are balancing out the flow of energy that's circulating within your body. Okay? Y'all have any questions, any comments, any suggestions, any feedback, please holler at me. I would love to hear it. If you enjoyed listening to chapter 1 of Mindfulness in Plain English and you would like to hear more, holler at me. I would love to hear it. If you feel that the reading was a little too intense or wasn't what you were expecting, I want to hear that too. I'm very open-minded. And I love to hear the feedback, okay? Because mindfulness is not just for me. I want to teach and share every part of it that I hold in my own personal experiences, as long as y'all are open and welcome to receiving it. Okay? So thank you for tuning in. If you are allowing someone to steal your joy, if you have allowed someone to steal your joy, shake that off. Shake it off. Think about it and ask yourself, do I want to keep feeling like that? The way that this made me feel, do I want to walk with that for the rest of my evening? If that answer is yes, that's your business. You're going to have to, that's something that you got to work on. If you do not want to allow that to interrupt your peace, shake it off. Breathe in. Let it out. On your inhales, inhale any positivity that you'd like to receive and welcome into your space. Exhaling, releasing anything from this moment, from this space that's not encouraging or supporting who you are and who you are becoming. Okay? Thank y'all for tuning in, and y'all have an amazing night.